Hello everyone, welcome to the Comic and Movie Show. My name's Deshaun, and today I'm talking about the news of today. And today, there's a breaking news. First of all, the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise had a, let's say, up and down, is an up and down franchise. First of all, the first Pirates of the Caribbean is a classic. It's a Disney classic. It's truly one of the best action movies of the early 2000s and one of the best adventure movies ever made, really. It's a very fantastic movie with a fantastic score. Everybody knows that. You know, if you hear it, you know it's the Pirates of the Caribbean score with an iconic performance from Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow, a young Orlando Bloom, and Keira Knightley. I mean, that movie had it all. It was a great movie. It was a fun time at the movie theaters. It's a Disney classic, and it was better than Disney ever thought it was gonna be, by the way. I saw that in this thing on Disney Plus called, I can't remember, like, it's like the making of the theme parks and how Disney was, like, shocked how big time that Pirates of the Caribbean movie turned out to be. But I digressed. Pirates of the Caribbean, one of the first Disney rides as well, one of the first long-time Disney rides to have animatronics too. So the franchise in Disney has a connection and a magic to it that goes as far back as, like, the 70s, man. Or before that, like, I think Walt was alive. Was Walt alive when they built those? I digress. You get what I'm coming from. In the years, I personally think that the original Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, from the Pirates from Black Pearl to At World's End, is a damn good trilogy. I do. I don't even hate on Stranger Tides, I think it's called, Stranger Tides, Pirates of the Caribbean 4. I don't hate that movie. It's the movie that kind of made me start going, okay. Like, I still thought Johnny Depp was not, like, I hadn't felt Johnny Depp was a parody of himself. That was the big thing that people kept saying, was like, Johnny Depp's a parody of himself, Johnny Depp's a parody of himself. I definitely disagree with people through the two movies. I thought he was fantastic in Dead Man's Chest and, obviously At World's End. And I still thought he was good and on Stranger Tides. He was good. I thought Ian McShane was good as Blackbeard. And I thought, I think her name's Penelope Cruz. I thought she was good in it as, as the love interest. And you got to learn a little bit more history of Jack. You got to learn a little bit more about him. You got to learn him and Barbossa's relationship involved. But as a whole, it wasn't that great of a movie. The only reason I even enjoyed it was because of Jack, mainly Jack, and maybe a bit of Ian McShane. But that last one, Dead Man Tells No Tales, oof. It was the first time I was like, this is what people think the other movies are. Dead Man Tells No Tales is what people think Dead Man's Chest and At World's End is. That's what they think it is Dead Man Tells No Tales. And for the first time ever, it occurred to me, I'm like, this is fucking what they think it is, man, because this is awful. It was terrible. I couldn't watch it. I made it halfway through the movie, and I said, fuck it, I'm done. I couldn't stand Johnny Depp's Jack Sparrow. He was just such a parody of himself. I finally saw it. He was a huge parody of himself. He was playing Jack Sparrow instead of being Jack Sparrow. You know what I mean? And I just couldn't watch it. It was so god-awful. And after that, I was just like, yeah, maybe the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise is just good being dead. Years have passed, and I believe either late last year or the middle of this year, it was kind of rumored that Disney was looking to reboot soft reboot the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. Now, there's a difference between a reboot and a soft reboot. A reboot is like completely done. Like, none of the events in the movies happened. Nothing happened. Complete restart. New characters. You can bring back your different interpretation of Blackbeard, your different interpretation of all the characters about Bosa. You can do it all over again. We got new characters, and the logos look different. Everything's different. Like, complete reboot. It's basically the difference between Brandon Routh's Superman Returns and Man of Steel. Like, those movies look almost nothing alike. Complete reboot. Now, a soft reboot is as it's applied. It's like things happened. You just kind of pick up the world the worlds, you pick up the world, you pick up the pieces, except now there's different players playing the game. As an example, say if The Matrix haven't planned out, like, of course The Matrix turned out to be a great movie, but say the original Matrix movie didn't pan out and that it was just an okay movie and like it made decent money, but you know, it really didn't do, or it lost money and they was like, yeah, we can't do this, and like, they were like, let's reboot it, you know, and it went on to become a cult classic or whatever, and they said, let's reboot it, let's soft reboot it. Basically what they would do is, if The Matrix was being soft rebooted, they would simply key the entire movie around a new character from Zion, who's also being hooked up to the Matrix, and they would loosely allude to the events from the original Matrix. They'd loosely talk about the crew that had the person who was the one, or they thought was the one, and that we haven't seen him in a very long time, and like they would loosely, you know, talk about it. That's a soft reboot, when you just kind of loosely, it's in the same world, it's in the same place. Transporter, Refuel, that terrible movie. That's a soft reboot, because it's not like a hard reboot. It's not like all the events of the movie Transporters didn't happen. It's just like, it's just like, you know, it happened somewhere else. We're following a new Transporter. It's a soft reboot. And apparently, that's what they're doing with this reboot. And like, apparently they're in negotiations to get Karen Gillan. Yes, that Karen Gillan from Jumanji and Guardians of the Galaxy, to come on and play the lead actress in the soft reboot of Pirates of the Caribbean. And now, just today, it was announced that Margot Robbie, and I'm a little loose on this bit, her writing partner from Birds of Prey are coming on to, Margot Robbie coming on to star in and have her writing partner write a different Pirates of the Caribbean movie that is gonna be more female-centric. And like, it was a bit confused there, because at first I was like, oh, I thought they were talking to Karen Gillan about doing this. I guess Karen Gillan dropped out. And then I saw that they're both happening, which I was like, there's two Pirates of the Caribbean soft reboot movies coming out? Well, the one with Karen Gillan is a soft reboot. The one with Margot Robbie, no one even fucking knows. So what I'm getting is that the one that with Karen Gillan is going to be a soft reboot. It's going to take place in the same world. You might even get allusions to Jack Sparrow, a cameo. You might get mentions of Davy Jones and mentions of these other things, but it's not going to be about them or about those other things. And the Margot Robbie one will also take place in the same world. What they're trying to do, at least from what I'm seeing, it looks like it. I could be completely wrong, and it could be just one's a complete reboot and one's, which would be weird to do. The only thing I can see them doing here is that, one, is that they're both in the same universe, they're both in the same soft rebooted universe, and eventually, if they're both successful, they can have a crossover. And they're gonna have like a mini Pirates of the Caribbean universe. Like, and that's the only thing I can see, is like, they're gonna have like a miniature Pirates of the Caribbean universe going here. I wonder if they're gonna make her his Jack Sparrow's daughter. Wouldn't that be crazy? That'd be nuts. But I'm so curious though. Like, I'm a huge fan of the original 3 Pirates of the Caribbean movies, as I stated. I love Johnny Depp. I love what those movies were, and they were just adventurous movies, you know, and as a little kid, those movies were great. And the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise has been in a rough patch ever since then. I mean, granted, Stranger Tides didn't make $1 billion, so I mean, it wasn't that bad of a movie, obviously. But you know, Dead Man Tells No Tales bombed, and it really, like, it's really hard. And right now, with Johnny Depp and with his problems with his marital thing with Amber Heard, it's really hard to tell if they'll ever be able to really get him back. So the soft reboot option is the smart choice. I'm just curious about how are these two movies going to be different from each other? And are these two movies taking place in the same universe? Are they completely separate? I am so curious about this. Even if it's not good, I'm so curious about this. Thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. Please remember to like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.